Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we'll be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders and them hiring Pete Carroll to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you guys do enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Let's get into this video. So, for me, I love this hire. As you guys know, about a week or two ago, when I did make my video of best coaches for the best fit of what team is the best fit for the available head coaches, I actually had Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. I thought it was one of the most outlandish ideas I had. But in my opinion, it was someone who could come in, has Super Bowl experience, long time of winning in the NFL and in college football. And at the end of the day, it's a head coach who can help stabilize the environment and the culture of that team. Because the Raiders, in the last 5 years, have had multiple head coaches, multiple GMs. So this was a chance to get a new GM and a veteran head coach instead of these one-off head coaches, a veteran head coach who could come in for 3 or 4 years, stabilize the team, build the culture, and then move on in 3 or 4 years. And as we know, Pete Carroll's contract is a 3-year deal. So I truly believe that Tom Brady sat down with new GM Jason Spittick and Pete Carroll and said, listen, we are not expecting to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. If we do win a Super Bowl somehow, awesome, amazing. But what we need to do is stabilize the franchise and build towards being a successful franchise for the future. And I think both Pete Carroll and new GM Jason Spittick all said, let's do it. Because, let's be honest, the Raiders are not winning a Super Bowl. Let's just be 100% honest. They're not winning a Super Bowl. They're not even probably going to win the division at all under Pete Carroll's tenure. But Pete Carroll has what I honestly think is one of the best cultures in the NFL when he was the head coach. Not only did he win with Russell Wilson, he won with Geno Smith. Made the playoffs, never went below 9 wins. So this is a guy who can get the most out of a mediocre to above average quarterback. He can get multiple winning seasons. So whether it's Aiden O'Connell or guess who's a free agent this offseason? Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. So maybe Pete Carroll, instead of going with Aiden O'Connell, goes, you know what? Let's sign Russ to a 2-year deal. Let's sign Bobby Wagner to a 1-year deal. And let's bring the Seattle culture we had to Las Vegas to a historically good and top-end franchise. And let's rebuild the culture. I honestly think that's a very high possibility. I do. Like Bobby Wagner, he's 34, 35 years old, still playing really well in Washington. Unfortunately, they did lose yesterday. But he's still playing really well in Washington. And then honestly, Russell Wilson has had a great season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Raiders need a quarterback, and the Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson have. The rumor is that they did meet up after Pete Carroll was put up into the front office. They already said that they met and they squashed any beef that they had during the last offseason. So I think that's great. That means they don't have any issues, right? And they can go into the future of the franchise and their friendship in the future of saying, you know what? We both made some mistakes. We apologize. So there is a possibility that Russell Wilson goes to Las Vegas. But I want to talk only about Pete Carroll. We saw that Pete Carroll is a very young 73-year-old, right? When they drafted DK Metcalf, 4 or 5 years ago, he took his shirt off. He's like, I wish I could look good as you at your age. Like, it's literally, it's a culture thing. He's a good guy. He has a good scheme, good team. In my opinion as well, he's really been able to go with the flow of the NFL, right? When Russell Wilson was a running quarterback in his early years, he was able to do that with his offensive coordinator. He hired an offensive coordinator to make the most of that. Then, when Russell Wilson had his knee injury and was less mobile, he then shifted his offense and his offensive line to be more pass protection. So then, obviously, when with Geno Smith, they really did make that offensive line as good as they could with, Gabe Lewis. I think that was his name. It was a really old Gabe Jackson, right? Gabe Jackson from the Panthers that was on there for a couple of years. Like, Pete Carroll has always tried to make the most out of his mediocre teams. And so far, he's been very successful. Again, won a Super Bowl, went to the year right after, so as a 2-time Super Bowl appearance with a ring, won a national championship, so he knows how to get these young guys on his team. I like the Pete Carroll hire. It stabilizes the franchise after Antonio Pierce, didn't really make it after 1 year. You fired Josh McDaniels after 2 years. And I think it makes guys that are veterans on the team not want out, right? Max Crosby, in my opinion, was someone who was on the way, had a foot out the door saying, I need more guaranteed money and I want to win. Pete Carroll is a great way of saying, hey, we still really want to win. We're not going to say give up over the next 3 years. We're going to try and win. But most importantly, it's fixing the perception and the PR of this franchise. Because everyone can agree, the PR of this franchise is god awful. It is awful right now, right? Like, no one likes the Raiders. Everyone thinks they're a joke. Three head coaches in 4 years, a complete joke of a franchise, and 3 GMs in 4 years as well. But now with Jason Spittick and now with Pete Carroll, they can stabilize the franchise, draft guys, have a good culture, get the fans reinvested as well. So, because again, this is a franchise that has multiple Super Bowl wins, and at one point led the league in like jersey sales and that in fan attendance when they were in Oakland. In Las Vegas, they've had issues filling that stadium, and I think having a guy that they can run a PR on of Pete Carroll, a guy that everyone in the NFL likes. There's no one in the NFL outside of maybe Jim Harbaugh that hates Pete Carroll. So I think it's very fun to have Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. Plus, now the AFC West, you have Andy Reid, Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton. Yo, that's the 2010s team. Like, that is the 2010s all-coach team. So I'm very excited to see how the AFC West is going to shake out. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to be the #1 team, but the Chargers, the Broncos, and now the Raiders can all openly say we have head coaches that have won in the NFL, right? 3 of the guys have won a Super Bowl. Two of the guys has won a national championship, but they're all championship coaches, right? Jim Harbaugh obviously went to a Super Bowl with Tom Kaepernick, and also won a national championship. Pete Carroll won a national championship and a Super Bowl. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl, and Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time. That is a fun division, right? I'm very excited. You guys can hear it in my voice. Obviously, I like this hire way more than Liam Cohen, obviously. But the Raiders have a very good base, right? A young up-and-coming offensive line, one of the best tight ends in the game, solid wide receiver play, young quarterback who I don't think is end up starting for Pete Carroll. I do see Russ going to Las Vegas. That's my own intuition. But run game, I could use some help. And defensively, a tier 1 pass rusher, a tier 1 D tackle, and a solid group of secondary guys. I am excited. I am so excited to see what the Raiders can be for the future. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Please don't forget to go to the description. Follow me on all the social media, mainly TikToks where I've been posting. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm going to be so happy covering the Raiders next year. I love Pete Carroll, so I'm very high on this hiring. I'm giving it an A hire. Again, I predicted that it was going to happen for all the reasons I've said in this video. So if you guys did enjoy, please go like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. And I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.